The great outdoors. There are obvious hardships to camping with a 1 year old: the lack of solid walls, the picnic table, diaper change, backaches, and the occasional tent implosions. All the world is not a stage, but a sandbox without sides where a child crawls like a lobster, slathered in glue. I also realized how much pain a parent can endure by sleeping in the car with the baby to quell the anger of fellow campers who, for some reason, prefer the silence of the woods over a crying baby at 2 in the morning. Despite this, I knew exposing my family to the joys of camping, joys long cherished, would have tremendous benefits. The first camp out. Armed with these memories of youth, as well as Thoreau's "I went to the woods because I wanted to live deliberately," I took my wife and daughter on our first camp out. We decided on a trial run, early spring, close to home, in preparation for our summer trip to Maine. I thought I had everything we needed: the tent, the sleeping bags, a hammer, flashlight, matches, the Coleman stove, the food, the kerosene lantern, the portable crib, a few toys, and my guitar. Finally, singing of the wind and no ringing of the phone, toasting marshmallows and not burning through bills, birds, deer, and chipmunks rather than annoying neighbors. The camping outing finally arrived. We set up camp, and by the time everything was ready, we had unexpected company. Retreating into the wilderness now means setting up camp a few feet away from another one retreating. And since it had been several years since I went to the woods, I discovered another change. Obviously, to lure more campers to the joy of the outdoors, there is no longer the need to miss the comforts of the indoors. If you plan on getting back to nature, why be uncomfortable? Getting away from it all now means taking it all with you: the microwave, the VCR TV, the portable satellite dish, the heater, the CD player, the cellular, the laptop, and of course, the leaf blower. Even at home, a leaf blower has always seemed to be a ridiculous gadget. What's the purpose of blowing leaves from one area to the next, unless it's onto the neighbor's green lawn? For people who dislike leaves, the ones who hate to be reminded of death and decay, I would imagine a leaf sucker would be more effective. With a hungry horsepower, goggles, and gloves, these poor defenseless leaves would have not a fighting chance to decompose naturally. Picture if instead of a vacuum cleaner, we had dust bunny blowers for the house. Dealing with the leaf blower militia at home is one thing, but not something I thought I'd confront Coleman cooking. Over the sound of the Backstreet Boys and the Beach Boys on either side of our campsite, and in spite of the television roar across the dirt road, a mechanical buzz groaned in the back of us. A sound familiar with the early Saturday morning when the militia take to the weekend parade grounds. The sound came from behind a camper. Flying debris, whirling pine needles, dust, dirt, and leaves headed toward us. We covered our plates and headed to our tent. Peeking through the flaps as if we were being attacked by Martian machines, my wife asked why that guy was using a leaf blower. He obviously doesn't like nature intruding on his campsite. The value of life. After I ate and calmed down, naturally angry, I walked over to address my concern, noticing his immaculately swept remnant of dirt. While rehearsing Thoreau's line, "Most of the luxuries and many of the so-called comforts of life are not only indispensable, but positive hindrances to the elevation of mankind," I heard the voice of a familiar TV talk show from the camper bring me back to my senses. I was about to knock on his door when I noticed he was using his laptop computer in quiet desperation. Since I valued my life, I decided against the Thoreau defense. After all, the campground was wired for the internet. If I went inside, I would probably ask if I could check my email. That was what I was trying to get away from. So I sucked up my outrage and took the family for an after-dinner hike where I quoted freely Thoreau because it's always safer to quote Thoreau amongst family and friends. On the morning of the next day, the leaves and pine needles had reclaimed the camping site. Like Sisyphus and his boulder, the leaf blower would be at it again. While my fellow campers fiddled with their computers, gazed at their TVs, and flipped through radio stations, changed the CD, and charged their leaf blowers, my family swam, hiked, watched butterflies, and roasted marshmallows. And we laughed. Gather ye sticks while ye may. Togetherness means more than occupying the same area. My daughter learned the words trees, leaves, bees, and flies. She even declared her first sentence, I got a stick. Her faulty grammar did not even upset this English teacher. After a full day of activity, we looked forward to retiring to the nighttime sounds of the woods, the man snoring behind us, the shrieks of drunks with their drinking games, the Ozzy Osbourne and David Letterman. We would have had more peace if we just pitched the tent in our backyard. Because homes have solid walls to keep most noise within, we could have contemplated the perfected silence of the stars. And that's what camping should all be about.